Hey, Jesse,
Hey, Drew.
where did the suicide bomber go?
The hell, I'd say.
No, he was all over the outside of the AT&T building. Ugh.
Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ.
Ugh. Welcome to another episode of CATV Tech Talk. But in all seriousness, suicide bombing's terrible. I do have to say this as a disclaimer. I don't find it's funny. I'm required to do one joke for every episode. So today we are going to talk about, I guess we will call it the Nashville bomber, or the bombing of Nashville on Christmas Day.
The 5G bomber.
The 5G bomber. There we go. So the 5G bomber, Jesse, what happened on Christmas fucking Day in Nashville, Tennessee?
Man, it didn't affect you. It did affect me because I'm down this direction. I'm about 2 hours.
Well, no. It did affect me, all right? My ass was extremely numb after sitting on the toilet for 2.5 hours trying to find information on this. So, you know what? It's not always about you.
Well, in this case, it fucking was about me because it did directly affect me. I'm about 2 hours and 10 minutes from Nashville, I guess, maybe a little more, not much more, if that. It knocked out cellular service. From what I read, I was out. The only time I could get online, you know, I had to be at home or at a McDonald's or somewhere I had Wi-Fi for about 3 or 4 days. They knocked out like parts of Alabama, parts of North Georgia, just a big bulk of the state of Tennessee. All I know for a fact is this crazy motherfucker pulled an RV on a side street, I guess, adjacent to the AT&T building in downtown Nashville and blew his fucking ass up. And in the process, he knocked out cellular service for 4 days, which really sucked, especially on Christmas. I mean, like, I had people I was supposed to call.
Especially during COVID, it's not like you can really go, or you're not supposed to be going there. So calling is supposed to be kind of the one thing we have.
Yeah, so it was, and then after about a day, I figured out I could use Wi-Fi calling, so I did that a few times. But it was just...
You probably shouldn't say that out loud on a podcast, but...
Why?
That you have technology that's been around forever, and you took your day to figure out how to use it, and you have
I just don't
technological podcast.
I'm a cable tech. I'm not a fucking geek, man. I didn't even know I could do that because I've never had to do it. And then so this dude sent me a message on Facebook I went to school with, and I had posted something about, is everybody out of service or whatever? And he sends me a message. He's like, dude, turn on your Wi-Fi call. And I was like, can you do that? So I went fucking with my settings, and then I got on YouTube, and this guy taught me how to do it, and it was really fucking easy. And I was like, damn, I'm a dumbass. But yeah, dude, I used that when I was able to. I'm glad it was like over through a weekend because like I use my phone a lot for work. So that would have really sucked had I still been out. Like I had some shit I needed to do over the weekend and I couldn't. So it was like just piled up, and I took care of it when my phone came back up, you know, but it is what it is.
Well, the good news is, beside of all of Jesse's terrible problems that this caused him, nobody died. That was a plus.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I guess, you know, buildings from the 1800s getting destroyed is not as terrible as losing your phone for the weekend, but I mean, that still kind of sucks.
Well, you need to renovate every now and again.
Yeah, I don't think that includes parking a fucking RV out in front of your house and fucking letting it go. So yeah, exactly what you said. So it ended up hitting 2nd Avenue North in downtown Nashville. They think the RV parked at about 1:22 a.m. on Christmas morning. After 4 or 5 hours being parked, the people around seemed to be waking up by at least 3 bursts of gunfire, followed by a computerized female voice broadcasting over a public address system. This area must be evacuated now. If you can hear this, evacuate now.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, did you not know this? So
no.
I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist guy. I don't go super deep into it. I'm not one of those guys that sit on the internet for a crazy amount of well, no, I can't say that, but at least for enough so my ass gets numb on the toilet. But I did do a good amount of research into it. I think this is fucked up first. Let me just say, I don't think it's an okay thing to do. The reason why we're really covering it is because we think it has a lot to do with behind 5G from what we gather. But I just think it's a screwed up situation. I have to say, the only respect I have for it is he seemed to have some sort of public safety in mind. I have heard people on CNN go, no, he was trying to lure the cops to him and blow it up. I mean, the guy had a recording going. I believe it was for about 15 minutes. It was a 15-minute countdown. Yes, a 15-minute countdown was broadcasted. And when it finally got down to the last minute, it exploded. So there was no tomfoolery. It wasn't like a false countdown. I mean, 15 minutes to me is a good amount of time. That's not a, hey, you got 45 seconds and boom. So I don't think his intent was to honestly hurt anybody.
I really want to know. I am kind of a conspiracy theorist myself, but I didn't get into this one as much. It just didn't interest
Oh yeah,
me.
you didn't have cell phone service, so.
Well, I mean, it just didn't pique my interest either. I was just like, this sucks.
Really, even being so close to home.
I figured something. I mean, fucking, it's 2020 for another 3 days. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, fucked up shit's happened all year. It didn't really surprise me. So, with that being, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
like, this
I can't really argue at that
year.
point. Usually, I'm like, "Fuck you, Jesse. You're this Jesse." Or no, you're just being. Nope, you're fucking. Go for it.
I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, it's been a fucked up year, and all of a sudden somebody blows up the AT&T. Well, it's just another day in 2020. So, and that's fucked up to say, but it's true. But at the same time, I'm a little bit into that conspiracy theory kind of thing. Like, the only thing I've really followed really that was real close, like a few years ago, I got into this this murder case, this disappearance for this woman in Rhode Island or somewhere up north, Massachusetts. Maura Murray or something. I got real deep into that, and I kept reading and watching videos and stuff. But with this here, the only real question I think anybody's going to have is why.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't. The only thing it really affected, since it didn't hurt other people, which is a great thing, but the only thing that it really affected was just cosmetic damage, and the guy killed himself. I mean, people commit suicide every day. It's not a good thing, and I'm not condoning it, but I'm glad if he was going to do it, he didn't try to take anybody with him.
Well, no. So, I mean, after the explosion, there was at least 3 vehicles that were affected by the bomb that exploded. 41 businesses were damaged. One building located across the street from the site of the bombing actually collapsed. Structural engineers deemed some of the buildings in the area to be safe on December 29th, but they're still looking into the other buildings around it. So hopefully there's not an extensive amount of damage, but it caused a lot of infrastructure damage to the AT&T facility.
Yeah, well, I mean, to the public in the South, and it's almost basically what it affected was my tri-state area: Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama.
Yep.
Now,
Resulted in AT&T services outages across the United States, primarily in the middle of Tennessee.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, and but it goes back to why. If the guy said in an interview there, I think to his neighbor, the world is never going to forget me, right?
Yeah. So he knew what was going on.
Yeah, but I mean, but why? Like, why right there? Was he trying to knock out like telecommunications? Was that the point? What was the point?
So if you end up, I'd have to look into this, but from what I remember reading on it, his father had a lot to do with engineering. I don't think maybe 5G. I don't know if it was his time if 5G's really been around that long, but either way, his father ended up dying from some type of wireless communication, getting cancer, a tumor from it. So from what other conspiracy theorists are thinking, is that this was to fire back on 5G. They think that 5G was trying to take over the world, that it's trying to, and like if you go online and start Googling 5G, there's a lot of fucked up shit up there. I remember even specifically sitting in a meeting when I was the cable tech, and they brought up 5G, and they said, if you see 5G up on a telephone pole, do not climb it. until you call your supervisor. And then your supervisor was to call Verizon and have them shut that down before you could climb a pole.
Okay, am I missing something?
I couldn't get a fucking SRO, but I gotta fucking trust that some dude is gonna shut off a switch that ain't gonna give me a fucking tumor.
Man,
Fuck that.
there's so much shit that can kill. Dude, I smoke cigarettes. I drink. I have unprotected sex. I drive
From the
a lot
south,
of.
yes.
Yeah, I drive without a seatbelt sometimes because I have a truck.
Do you have doors on the truck?
Yeah, I got doors.
Oh, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, dude, and we're in a fucking pandemic. There's more shit gonna kill me than some fucking wireless signal.
I'm pretty sure it's the Taco Bell that's gonna kill you.
Nah, fuck, I like Taco Bell. Let it kill me.
I don't know, because I honestly, like you said, it's kind of a normalcy now, which is fucking terrible that we have to say that. I feel like bombing's a normal thing. I don't really feel like this guy is going to be remembered in any way because it really wasn't that fucking damaging. I mean, I'm grateful again that nobody was involved as far as dying besides supposedly himself, but still, I don't know. I don't think he was that impactful. So I don't think he was doing it to really put a name out there for himself. I still think it was more of an attack towards the 5G.
Yeah, and that's that's essentially a terrorist action if you think about it. Nobody got hurt in this situation, but that's what it is. It's terrorist action. That's what it is. And he's trying to and most terrorists do something like this or a suicide bombing or blow something up in the name of something. So odds are, like you said, if those conspiracies are correct, we don't know. We probably never know. It's because of, hey, I'm anti 5G. Everybody's anti something.
Yeah. It's just whether you're gonna fucking put a bomb to your chest and do it. The part that I find so interesting was 3 gunshots and then the starting of a recording. Like, unless it had like a 30-second pause prior to the recording, like actually playing. You know what I mean? Like 30 seconds of fucking like dead air. I find it strange in that there was 3 shots.
Right. Yeah, that is a little weird. I wonder how close like apartments and shit were to that.
Right across the street.
Oh, so there was housing close.
So it was a huge business district, but there was a bunch of like housing above the businesses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how it is down in Chattanooga. There's a lot of businesses on the bottom floors in downtown, and then there's like those high class apartments upstairs, you know?
Yep. They're starting to do those around where I live too. It has something to do with the zoning, I think, around here. That's why we're starting to see it pop up, probably because other states are doing it and it works well for them. But yeah, he was a computer technician and a burglar alarm or an alarm guy. Oh, crap. All right. Any of our fucking cable guys out there that are alarm techs, you don't need to blow up a building. Like, just don't. It's not worth it.
Yeah, just send us an email and we'll tell you a cool joke.
Yeah. Or we'll fucking rip apart your boss over the air because I'm not tied into anybody, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I'll do it too. Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
it.
It will keep you completely 100% anonymous. That's the greatest thing about us at CATV Tech Talk. We truly don't give a fuck who you are, just as long as you have good stories.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
care if they're made up.
Do you think he did this by himself?
I truly think he did. I don't think anybody else was involved. He seemed like a real loner. He was a computer guy that kind of just ran around from site to site. He didn't really stay anywhere specific, it seemed. Let me see. In weeks leading up to the bombing, Warner quit his job, gave away his car, executed a quitclaim deed transferring his national duplex home to a Los Angeles woman for $0. He had previously executed a quitclaim deed for a different house in 2019, transferring his interests in the home to the same woman. Reportedly, Warner had told the woman to whom he gave his car that he had cancer, although whether he actually had cancer is not known. A neighbor said just before Christmas, Nashville and the world does never forget me, his financial transaction reported, including purchases of bomb-making components. if he was purchasing bomb making components, that tells me that this individual was not being watched by the FBI in any way or another, because he would have been caught. He would have been picked up way by now, especially if he was purchasing these things with an active card.
Well, I believe it said that somewhere in an article I read that he was on no TBI, like the Tennessee Bureau's watch list or anything.
Yeah, he was 100%. And I think you said he got picked up for pot back in what, like 78?
Something like in the night. It said late 1970s.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, 1978. Warren had been involved in a family dispute that went to court after he transferred ownership of a family home to himself directly before his brother's death in 2018.
You know, things are a lot more in terms of, I don't know how to explain this. Things have evolved to the point where like murders get solved faster. The government, the cops, the FBI, whatever, they figured things out a lot quicker now in 2020 than they did, 50 years ago, right? Because if you look back in time, like the Unabomber, you remember Ted, how do you say his name? Kaczynski?
Oh, God, I don't even remember.
The Unabomber. He did that shit and was building those fucking bombs in a fucking shack between 78 and 1995. Imagine how long of a period he got away with doing that. And he was, at that point, he was writing the FBI and shit, writing letters and stuff. So I think that in that time frame is when they started trying to like pinpoint people who would maybe possibly do something like that. But you would think somebody that's ordering these parts, you would say he's ordering them, right? Like there'd be like a paper trail, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, some type of paper trail.
So he's buying these parts and there's this paper trail of parts. You would think that'd throw up a red flag.
Well, and that's it really, I guess it all comes down to what type of components you're purchasing. I mean, I'm not going to discuss fucking what they use to make bombs.
No, but you see my point, right? Like,
yeah, but that's why I say, like, because unfortunately they are relatively everyday items that are pretty easy to get. So again, it's more, I think, if you're being watched. I don't know. Like you said, unless it's all being picked up with the same card, or is he buying it with cash? I mean, the pictures that you see of him, they do have one image of him at an ATM, so he's definitely been pulling money.
well, I mean, like for instance, like, and if it's a cash thing, I understand it. But I mean, if you think about it, say tomorrow you sell like something for $10,000, and $10,000 drops in your account, the fucking IRS is gonna know about that instantly, right? Why? Like I think that under 9,000 or something, they kind of like don't say shit. But if it's over like 10 grand, they fucking know you got 10 grand. Okay, where's that money coming from, right?
Yeah.
So if they do that to people every day, well, if you got some motherfucker that's spending $10,000-$20,000 on fucking parts to blow up a fucking AT&T building or blow up anything, you would think, okay, this is maybe a little fucked up. You would think. But maybe he did it at a perfect time. We're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. People are fucked up and broke and losing their homes and their jobs and all this bullshit. Oh, this is a perfect time to blow something up.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a time to be down and out, and fucking just be straight up depressed, which sucks. And it sucks that it leads to shit like this. Again, I don't know. I truly, I just wish there was so much more information on this guy. I would love to hear other people's conspiracies on it, to see where they think half the shit's coming from. If they think it's real, if it's not real. To me, I don't know. I feel like it's somebody doing something, and there's a lot more that's not being said, because it's information that if it was released, I don't think they would react well to it.
No, but even if they didn't, it doesn't matter now. The guy's dead.
No. Oh, no. I know that, but still, I don't know. Something just seems fishy to me. It's like the Las Vegas shooting all over again to me. That Las Vegas shooting, they never found out what the fuck that guy's motive was.
Yeah, and they'll never know.
And they'll never know. And this one behind, like, to me, I feel like parking in front of AT&T is a significant part of it.
Let me throw out you said you think he did this by himself, and that's possibly true. But since
I
we
do.
don't really know, I'm going to throw out a conspiracy here, okay? Just an idea, since this is kind of all speculation we're talking about anyway. We're in an election year. You got pissed off people everywhere on both sides, right? We're in the middle of the pandemic. This year has been fucked anyway. There's all this shit going on. You've had the issues with the cops, and you've had all this shit happen in this year, right?
Hmm.
And at some point throughout this year, I was thinking to myself, okay, something's going to fucking happen. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. Something's going to explode between both sides because this country's never been divided like it is right now, right? It is divided. Now, is that a good thing? Absolutely fucking not. We're eating each other up from the inside. That's terrible. But we are big and divided. Like people are putting their heels in one way or the other. This is the way I want it. Well, and I learned in 4 days or 3 or 4 days that I didn't have cell service, how important that really is to our daily lives, right? Like, for instance, like it's just simple shit. Just think about it. I had to call my kid's doctor to get an appointment. Couldn't call nobody. That's just one thing. I use my phone for my job. I couldn't take calls. If I couldn't be mobile and take care of things that I need to take care of while I'm taking care of something else because I wasn't connected to anything.
Hmm.
It really is such a big part of our daily life. Who's to say that him and like another group of people are all planning this out? And I hope this doesn't happen. But what if in 2 or 3 weeks we see on the news like somewhere in fucking Texas or California, there's another one, and it's near. Maybe this is like something that's leading to a bigger picture, which is a terrible thing to think.
Yeah.
Like I hope that it's this guy's just fucked up in the head, and he's like, okay, this killed my dad. I'm pissed off, so I'm just gonna blow it up, and that's the end of it. But as fucked up as this year's been, and all the division, and all the hate, and all this shit, who's to say, man?
So I actually find it funny that you're saying all this because while I'm listening to you, I'm also, as we're always doing, looking at research in the background. But I actually just stumbled across something that talks about exactly what you're talking about. It says that FBI agents have been informed that Warner was constantly pursuing tips they were pursuing tips that Warner was constantly concerned and paranoid about 5G spying on Americans. Since the pandemic hit, conspiracy theories have raged that 5G cell phone towers have spread COVID-19.
Oh my God, really? Give me a break.
Scientists have found the claims baseless. They actually put fucking scientists on this.
That's so stupid.
Wow. But really, that's the only thing that that's the only thing that I can ever come across when it comes to him is he just truly fucking didn't like 5G and he thought it was fucked.
But here's something else too. Who's to say that there ain't another 5 million whack jobs out there that don't like 5G? Like, you know what? I'm not happy anyway. Fuck this shit. Let me go buy an RV. Like, dude, I'm telling you, hopefully it's a one hit kind of thing. But dude, there's more crazy people in this world, and we all agree with that. There's no telling, dude. This might pop up again. But the main thing is people commit suicide every day. It's a sad thing. I hate that anybody feels to that point. That's terrible for any reason, right? Whether their wife passed away or they had a divorce or they lost a child or like bad things happen and people don't know how to handle it. And that's what they do.
I
And
mean,
that's
he lost his fucking dad and his brother.
yeah, that's a big fucking trigger, man. If you look into psychology, like that's a big trigger. Like things like if you look into like history, like serial murderers or whatever, psychopaths, something in their childhood or in their life, something triggered them to cut because they say that everybody has a mindset where they're literally like one little tick away from doing something they shouldn't, right? At any given time. And that's anybody, right? Me,
Hmm.
you, the president, anybody, right? We're all capable of doing the same things. But a lot of us don't, right?
Yeah.
Some people have like a something in their brain, like that they have like damage that like certain parts of their brain that causes them to do these violent or crazy acts, and other people have something that triggers them into doing these things. That's a big trigger to lose your dad and your brother, and you're kind of a loner anyway. And
Yeah,
if
I mean,
that's
he
what
had no kids, minimum family.
if that's what you blame it on, I mean, I kind of understand it. Now, I wouldn't want to kill myself. Maybe he figured like if I blow it up, I'm going to go to prison. So maybe I'll just go down with the ship. But either way, it's a sad situation. It's sad for the man. For I kind of feel bad for him. That's a sad thing. I'm sorry. Do I think what he did was right? Absolutely fucking not. I feel bad for the man. He obviously was struggling mentally and had no release for it. No, had no help. And in a way, that's one of those things that anybody out there listening needs. If you have somebody that's struggling, man, just reach out to them, tell them, it's okay. Hey, we're going to get through this kind of thing because you never know what you can prevent. And that's a big deal. But with that being said, people mimic people. So this happened. There's so many people with so many ideologies out there. Like, if there is so many, like you said, conspiracy theories on 5G going to kill us and all this bullshit, well, here's the deal. What's to say that this happened? And now, have you ever seen American Horror Story? Did you ever watch that, Drew?
No.
I want you to check out Cult if you ever get a chance. It's like the 8th season of American Horror Story, and this one guy, he's got these radical ideas, and he gains followers, right? Like they start following him, kind of like a cult, right? Like if you look back in time, there's been numerous cults, right? And they're all violent and radical. And this might start something that kind of rolls snowballs, and a bunch of these wag jobs that think this 5G is going to kill us is like, okay, we're putting war on 5G, and whatever this guy's name is, whatever he's who we're looking up to. People are crazy, dude.
Yeah, because it's funny because I listen to you talk and explain it, and because again, we don't really know much about this, so it's more of just trying to bounce off each other what we think. But just kind of how you look at it and it's so crazy how different it is from my perspective. Because I look at this guy who is just sad, alone, and he blames something from taking it away from him, so he is going to destroy it. And I don't think he killed himself because he didn't want to go to jail. I think he just truly that's where he was in his life to do that. He was just kind of fed up, done. As far as the crazy part goes with the conspiracy with the 5G, I don't know. I kind of wish I looked a little more into it.
Well, I mean, even no matter how much more we read, dude, the point is that everybody's going to have an opinion on why he did this. None of us are ever going to be right. Really, what we need to cover, based on what our audience wants to hear a little bit, is how it affected us. Well, I'm kind of curious to how it literally affected cable techs for 3 or 4 days. They use mobile data every day
Yeah.
to get jobs, go place to place. I wonder how that affected everyone.
I bet you, I bet you there was enough lines out there that they could communicate. I bet you it probably just went back to because we had CSG and shit go down on us, and you just go all the way back down to pretty much paperwork orders. As far as the infrastructure goes, I know that AT&T ended up putting mobile units in their downtown Nashville, so services were at least back up wirelessly. And as far as Uverse and all that goes, I'm sure they're in there right now. Honestly, they're going to have so many people in there trying to fix it. I don't think it would be down that long.
Well, no, I'm talking about like for the couple of days there, like, I think Comcast, didn't we have Verizon phones? Did you have a Verizon phone?
I have one, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, that's what
through
through
freaking
Comcast.
Comcast. I had Sprint and Verizon.
Well, I had Verizon, and I remember, but now I believe Comcast offers cell service. I believe now,
They do.
and
They use Verizon towers as well.
yeah, I think I read that. And Charter. My uncle actually has Charter's Spectrum, whatever you want to call it, their cell phone service. He says, dude, it's great. He had AT&T for years, and his little area he lives in, like my phone, when I go to his house, I have to leave it by a window just to get one bar because I have like no service over there. But he's
Jesus.
walking around just talking happy and shit now. So, but
This must be the one that grows weed.
absolutely it is.
Out in the middle of nowhere, no cell service.
No cell service.
Oh,
But
fuck.
with that being said, it may not have affected because Comcast is in Nashville. It may not have affected them at all if they have their own cell service now and they're using Verizon towers. It probably didn't affect them at all. But there are AT&T in that area too, so I wondered how like their daily how all that really worked. Because if they have techs, they're going to have their service. They're not going to pay somebody else for it. So how that affected and how they got through their days for them few days with absolutely nothing. Because like even they put those mobile towers up, they didn't do that, but just in Nashville. So you still had Alabama and part of Tennessee and part of Georgia off.
Yeah. Yep. Shit.
So it probably was a pretty fucked up couple of days there. And probably what I would say, and this is just a speculation, I would say what they did is kind of go back, like you said, you go back to paper shit, and they probably went out. The bad part is you couldn't call anybody like pre-call people. So I assume they just showed up in the time frame with a paper work order and said, "Hey, I'm here to fix your shit" or whatever. But that in itself, that gets people get pissy with that. So it's probably a rough couple of days. I'm glad it's all back up and running. It seems like.
I'm glad nobody was killed. I think
that's a big part of it too. Like I'm glad nobody really got hurt. That with that being said, like it'll take, I'd say in 2 months the damn building that got blew up will be rebuilt in 2 or 3 months, and this will just be a speck on history. And that guy, like we won't remember his name probably in 10 years. That's a sad thought that maybe he thought he'd be infamous because of it, but he's not going to be. All it is that you're going to remember. And when I'm 50 years old, 2020, man, Christmas, we had no phone service. Couldn't call Aunt Jean or whatever the fuck, So
about the struggles.
About the struggles, man. So it is what it is, but that's a sad thought that anybody gets that depressed, and that's why we, like I said, that's the main question. Why? We're never going to know that. I know it affected a lot of people in terms of their daily life. It didn't affect them, like they didn't get injured or harmed, but it was a very short thing before they got everybody up and running. So there ain't much more to talk about. That's a sad thing. Christmas 2020, a man literally blew himself up trying to prove a point that nobody really understands.
Yeah, in a nutshell. And then, like you said, it's sad. It's a terrible situation right now. COVID's horrible. People are losing their jobs out there, and I hate saying it, suicide's rampant, and it's a terrible, sad thing. If you or anybody has any of that, I mean, there's numbers, the National Suicide Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. I mean, you give them a call, like we say all the time. I mean, we joke about it, but fucking send us your shit. We don't care who you are. We're not here to give you away or to get you fired from your job. Actually, I'd feel fucking terrible. Unless you were that one fucking douchebag tech that dropped that last fucking job on me at the end of the fucking day where PhD was failing. But I'm not really going to get into that. But send us an email, or, we have the
call and leave us a message, man. Yep. Like reach if you're having problems and you listen to us, like we're starting to kind of vary out. We are cable techs and our show is about the cable industry, but we will vary out on different topics from time to time, kind of like we're doing now. But we do care about everybody. We do. We've met some cool people doing this show. I actually talked to a guy that we did a show with a few months ago yesterday. Pretty cool guy. He's like, "Hey man, you wrote a book." I was like, "Yeah, I did." He's like, "I'd love to read it." And I was like, "Well, man, I'll send you a copy." And just like we're cool guys. And if you're struggling and you just want somebody to talk to, man, fucking reach out to us. We'll talk to you. We'll send you funny memes. We'll chat with you if you want a video chat, whatever, dude. We'll help you. Don't ever just struggle by yourself, dude. We're here for you.
100%. And I need somebody else to talk to Jesse besides me, because
absolutely, I need somebody that knows how to talk about sports.
I do know how to talk about sports. You just throw the ball down the rink and score the field unit. Oh God. But yeah, no, this was a fucked up situation. Again, let us know what you think.
Yeah, please reach out, send us messages. If you worked in some of those areas during this little outage, this mini outage, tell us what it was like what happened, like what was different.
Fuck it, send us a message. We'll have you on. You can tell us exactly what happened.
Absolutely.
So, all right, dude. It's late. We're doing a podcast on a night we normally don't record it. I'm tired. I have work tomorrow. Do you have anything else?
No, man.
All right, man. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for having us on your radio or headset. I don't fucking know. Thanks for listening to CATV Tech Talk. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
What? Like what you just heard? Then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Me and Jesse have a new episode for you every Monday, and every Wednesday we drop a new cable short. Want to drop us a line? You can email us at catvtechtalk@gmail.com, or you can call us at 302-YAP-CATV. That's 302-927-2288. Thanks again for listening, and don't forget, crawling, climbing, drilling, and driving is just the beginning.